Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans who do whatever it takes. Here we go.
From Buffalo Wild Wings, this is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Super Park, Spirit Toyota Scion, and Bud Light.
Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. This is the Jeff Fisher Show. How you guys doing tonight? Huh? Cardinals just won. Your Rams won Thursday night on national television. We welcome in the Rams head coach. Jeff, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. How's it going?
Good. You have a good weekend?
Yeah. Anytime you win 2 games in 4 days and you have a weekend off, it's a good thing. Your business.
I know you've had work to do, but do you find yourself, do you watch football as an interested party, or do you get away from it?
I actually flew down Friday night to Auburn, Alabama, watched Auburn lose to the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yes, ouch.
Your son plays for Auburn.
Yes. So that was great. A lot of fun just being a dad, going down there and watching the ball game.
SEC football, SEC atmosphere. Can you beat it?
No, you can't.
I mean,
it's really impressive. Yeah.
And you being in Nashville, I know Vandy. You don't get the real sense at Vandy as you get with Alabama, Georgia.
Did you see what Vandy did this week?
Well, I watched the game. Unfortunately, I've got a headache from it. Yeah.
Do you? Wow.
Yeah.
They're better than most people give them credit for.
Well, but I tried to warn people about how good the SEC is from top to bottom. I mean, you don't get many days off in the SEC, do you?
No. But Auburn's off to a rough start. Uncharacteristic of them. They got a lot of young players, people injured, and so we'll see.
They'll be back. They'll rally.
They'll get back.
It's Auburn. 9 sacks, Coach.
Yep.
I mean, is that like Christmas to you? 9 sacks? Love seeing quarterbacks go down like that?
Somebody told me we had more sacks than we did completions in the game.
You did?
Yes.
We did. Wow.
Two more, in fact.
Yeah, and the thing about it is we had a chance for a couple more, too. He slipped away and ducked away, and, we had a couple taken away. But, yeah, I think collectively, defensively, everybody got contributed, And what happens, you know how the sacks go. I mean, sometimes it's a one-on-one, somebody wins, bang, quarterback goes down. Other times he's holding the ball, looking around because people are doing the right things down the field. So most of them were of that. There was, we were affecting coverage well, and Kevin wasn't quite sure where to go, and then bang, it goes down.
So many positives here. You're 3-2. You're now 3-0 at home, and you're 2-0 in the division. Of all those things, I know all of them please you, but what stands out first?
We should have beat Detroit,
That wasn't one of the choices, but it's okay. We'll go E, none of the above.
So I can say that every week. I'm going to say that. And I guess if I say that every week, that means we're winning. But, the home thing is really important to our guys, and that was really exciting. And you would expect that out of an evening nationally televised game. The challenge now is to get everybody back up for the noon game. Our next game, which is obviously going to be Green Bay at noon. Can we carry that kind of momentum? Because it's different. But if you can get that point across, then boy, it's a hard place to play whenever and where whatever time you're playing.
I thought you went into this game with a very practical approach. You said after the game, look, we know their defense is playing very well. We knew we probably wouldn't light up a scoreboard. We needed the defense to do what it did tonight. And that's you choreographed it pretty much how it played out.
And we were that way during the week. We just we were realistic. I mean, offensively, our offense thought we were going to make a lot more plays than we did. But you just don't know about the matchups, and we just had some third longs and 3 and outs, and then defense got the stops, and we got some significant field position changes in the games, and defense holding them to 3, and them missing a field goal and things like that. They all fell kind of perfectly in place.
Well, you mentioned the 7 completions from Sam Bradford, but 2 went for touchdowns, and 1 was a beautiful deep ball down the field.
Yeah, and again, we didn't have a whole lot of attempts. The thing that was strange about the game was that what we did when we went at halftime is we decided that we had to flip the time of possession because it was like 19-11 or something like that, and we needed to run the football in the second half to keep the defense fresh, so that in the event that we needed them to make that play at the end, they were fresh and pass rushing and doing that. So we got those 2 drives put together, where we ran it pretty well against them, and we kind of got away from the passing game. But time possession still, I think, when you're playing good special teams, which we have been playing good special teams, our young punter and kicker are doing well right now, and you're covering, then your offense can take care of your defense when need be, and your defense will take care of your offense.
I thought you came out in the second half. For a half, you probably ran the ball as well as you have all year long. And then on the flip side, defensively, You absolutely shut them down, stoned them in the run game in the third quarter. That changed what they could do. What changed for you guys? What adjustments did you make?
Well, we defensively, we threw a few wrinkles at them, just a few change-ups, and I think we were able to anticipate when they were going to run it, so you put them in a run stop in front here and there, and we did. We created some problems for them to put them in third and longs, and then we were able to get off the field.
Speaking of that, how well is Michael Brockers coming around?
He's coming. He's coming. He's got 2 games now under his belt, with the ankle. This weekend off is going to help him significantly. He'll be much better this week, especially on the grass.
You got so many young guys playing and contributing and playing well. Janoris Jenkins just seems like this kid's getting better. Even when you think a guy's got a step, the guy's instinctive and he's athletic enough. He's closing. His ability to close and knock a ball away is incredible.
Yeah, it really is, and it's too bad that Larry Fitzgerald grabbed his face mask.
Yes. That's a pick six.
That's going the other way.
That's
going the other way. Then we had another play where Robert Quinn deflected a little bubble screen, and Court had seen it, recognized it, played the play, and the ball was hitting him in the chest going the other way. So, we had 2 opportunities for defensive scores, but as long as you get those opportunities, they keep coming, you'll turn them into scores.
Jenkins doesn't lack for confidence, does he?
No, he likes to play. He's very competitive, studies real hard during the week, recognizes things, jumps routes, anticipates things. Now they're gonna challenge him a little bit, because he's got as a young player, you got to be a little bit more disciplined with his eyes. His eyes are going to get him in trouble at some point. He knows that, but he's tackling well, he's running well, and he's gonna have to handle the punt return duties while Danny's out, for a few weeks.
He strikes me as a guy who's not fearless in that regard either.
Yeah, I know, he scares me to death.
I didn't know.
No, he'll be fine. Yep. He's just, you don't take your eye off the punt to look at coverage. You fair catch the kick. You don't fair catch coverage.
I mean, do you and John Fossil emphasize to him the importance of ball security from here on out? I mean, that's first and foremost.
Yeah, we're starting practice with that tomorrow. So, but you get the ball in his hands. There's no telling what'll happen.
Right.
Yeah.
The downside, losing Danny for a while.
Yeah.
That does not help. But the good news is you didn't lose him for the year.
We did not. And this, as rare and as unique as this injury is or was, it's probably better than a fracture, or on a collarbone, because then you probably lose them for
the year.
8 to 10 weeks or the year. But
and it looked like we were just watching, and it looked like a classic.
After he threw the helmet,
broke his collarbone.
Yeah.
But,
doctors did a great job with it on Friday. Really did a great job with the diagnosis and then the.
And it was important how quickly they acted, as I understand. They put it back in place. Otherwise, you might have some problems with the aorta.
Yeah. So they did a medical staff did an excellent job.
One other note here: Steven Jackson news broke that he'll be able to avoid the final year of his contract. And I bring that up because I think there are some fans that think they read this and they think Steven Jackson's automatically gone after this year. That's not the case.
No,
right?
It's not. And
I just want a chance to set the record straight.
At the timing too, because we did this at training camp.
Right.
And so somebody let it out in the national televised audience, and so whatever the motivation was. But no, it's a good deal for him. It's a good deal for us. We can certainly have him back. And then if for some reason he wants to go on, then he's got that opportunity to do that next year. But it's a good situation for both. It's a good business deal when both sides are happy.
Funny how that stuff gets out, though, huh?
Yeah.
The timing of it's pretty.
Yeah. Somebody that let it out knew about it and waited.
So. Right. It almost seems like now you're starting to develop a thunder and lightning backfield. The second half felt like that.
Yeah.
Because Jackson was running his usual, like a 300-pound steamroller, and then here comes Darrell Richardson off the edge. And every time that he shoots through a gap, I kind of think, oh, man, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
That's the exciting part of his game. Then that's why he's here, because he's got that potential.
We will take your phone calls at 314-969-0101 or 618-399-0101. Hit us up at Twitter at Rams Radio. Are you on Twitter?
No.
Do you know what Twitter is?
Yeah. Funny story. I opened one before I took a trip a year ago in spring, and I think I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. So I opened the Twitter just to be able to kind of communicate, because knowing that I would lose service. And So it worked. It worked till I got to Amsterdam, and then I couldn't figure out how to use it, and then I lost service over there. And so if it's out there, I'm not using it. Someone else is using it.
A lot of things get lost in Amsterdam.
Haven't used it since.
All right. We will take your phone calls when we come back. This is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota on 101 ESPN of the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
101 ESPN talk sports all day, every day. St. Louisans are the best sports fans in the world, and 101 ESPN brings all the passion and pride to the coverage you deserve. Mike and Mike every weekday morning. Zach and the Coach from 9 to 11. The godfather of St. Louis sports, Bernie Miklasz from 11 to 2. The Fast Lane from 2 to 6. Then Stully and Rammer with baseball postseason action. 101 ESPN, St. Louis's sports station.
All right, welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings and the Jeff Fisher Show. We will take your phone calls, 969-0101, 618-399-0101, or hit us up on Twitter at Rams Radio. You can also ask a question here from the audience at Buffalo Wild Wings. We have a microphone, and we can pass it around and get that to you. Coach, interesting weekend, a lot of stuff going on. Last night, Drew Brees breaks a record that it's a pretty phenomenal record, 48 straight games with at least one touchdown pass. He had 4 last night. You've been around the game a long time. How big an accomplishment is that?
Well, I mean, how long is that record?
Johnny Unitas, 1960s.
60s, wasn't it? Late 50s or 60s. I mean, that speaks for itself. I mean, there's been a lot of great quarterbacks to come and play in this game. And for Drew to be the first one to have a shot at that's pretty impressive. He's Drew Brees now. I mean, he is really, really talented. He's got such great vision and such confidence and command of that offense, and kind of happy for them considering what they're going through to be able to get themselves a win.
Yeah, this has kind of been a nightmare. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for them. You can kind of empathize with that, can't you?
Yeah, not
difficult situation.
It's been a hard deal for them, but they can get back. They can get on a roll because they're a talented team.
I thought Mike McCarthy. First of all, going back to the Seattle thing, the debacle on Monday night in Seattle. Mike McCarthy, I thought, showed immediate class that whole week. And then the story comes out last week that he called the referee that was involved, did not overturn the call, upheld the call. This guy's been getting plastered, bombarded. Mike McCarthy takes it upon himself to call and offer support. That shows me a lot of class.
Well, it is. It clearly is. I mean, that's what, after the game, we're getting ready for the Seahawks, and I'm asked over and over about it, and my response was that I thought Mike McCarthy's done a terrific, outstanding, whatever job handling a difficult situation. And he did. He has. And those are the good things in the league that you rarely hear about.
When you there's a process where the team will send in plays, get it reviewed. The NFL by Wednesday or Thursday will get back to you and tell you. Do you get involved in that? Do you even want to hear back from the NFL?
I don't send plays in.
Pardon me?
I don't send plays in.
You don't?
No.
Period?
No.
It serves no purpose?
Well, I'll send them in an effort to maybe help the department or something if there's something difficult, or if there's something egregious, or there's there's something going on in the field where someone takes a shot at somebody and it's not seen, or it's a chop or something like that needs to be. But from the standpoint of just sending questions in, well, is this a hold? You miss this, you miss that. They're going to miss calls. That's just the nature of the game, and they're not going to get everything called. They're not going to get everything called right. So on occasion, I'll pick the phone up and call in there and say, well, I did. For example, I did last week. I mean, Mike Carey. Now this is their first week back, and Mike Carey's there, and Chad Brown's there. Well, Mike, we had a couple issues that needed to be discussed, but Mike changed hash marks on us during this play, during the series, and you go from right hash, and then they call timeout, and then so we call our play, and all of a sudden the ball's on the left hash, and we're looking at the formation, and it's a hash mark call, and so those kind of things, you got to remind them. And again, it was their first day back there, game back, and they're a little rusty, but I know what the answer is going to be. If you send a play in, you know what the answer is going to be, and we missed it, or no, it's the wrong call or whatever. So
you can always go back to the replacements.
No, I'm going to tell you what. This has been, you talk about a breath of fresh air. I mean, John Perry's, I've got great respect for all the referees. John Perry's one of my favorites, And Gene Sturtor's coming in. We're going to do our game in Miami. He's really good as well. So it's just great to have him back.
Let's go to the phone lines and welcome in Jim, who's on the line from St. Louis. Jim, you're on with Jeff Fisher.
Thank you. Hi, Coach. My question is, how do you teach a team how to win? And then how did you develop that winning mentality beginning when you first took over with the Rams to now? Thank you.
Well, so many of these games are won at the end, and that's the thing that's so important is you can't, as a football team during a game, you have to be very, very careful to get caught up in the ebbs and flows of the game. They're getting coached too. They're getting paid too. They're going to make plays. They may score touchdowns. That's okay, but we have to make more plays than they do, and that's what the kind of the approach that you take. And then there's one way that you play, in my opinion, that's very, very physical. I mean, you have to play physical, and so this team has done that thus far, and we'll continue to do it.
Next up is Shanna from DeSoto. Shanna, you're on with the Rams head coach.
Hi, Coach Fisher. I was wondering if you would ever give Legatron a chance to kick a 65-yard field goal. Thank you.
Good question, Shanna. The answer is yes, I would. But I guess the question remains, what's the scenario? Because if you miss it, then your opponent has real good field position. It's not like college where the ball comes back to the 20 now. Or used to. So, it's going to be to win a game or at the end of the half or, a situation where, you've got a commanding lead, then, the opportunity presents itself. So we'll take a look at it.
I guess the name has stuck.
Legatron?
He knew,
I know you're against
I knew who she was talking about.
You're against rookie nicknames.
I read that someplace. Yeah.
He's against rookie. The other thing, not just 13 for 13 and 4 for 4 from beyond 50. You now have this football team now in 5 games has more touchbacks than it did all of last year.
Is that right?
So
wow.
he gives you field position on kickoffs.
No, he does, and that's important, especially when it seems like week after week after week we're facing these just great returners. It's like
who they bring out of retirement? Billy White Shoes Johnson this week? Is he coming back?
Mel Gray or whoever.
Terry Metcalf.
I mean, from Hester to last week to now this week. I mean, this past those
right.
3 games consecutive. Yeah, so I've even looked to see who Miami's returners are.
Let's welcome in Bill. Bill, welcome to the show. Your question or comment for Jeff Fisher?
Coach Fisher doing a great job so far. Just wanted to ask, since Danny's out for a little while, we're going to see more of Brian Quick and a little bit more of Steve Smith.
Yeah, good question, Bill. It's been hard putting Steve down inactive, because he's a good player. He's such a good team guy. And so he's been inactive the last 2 weeks. So with Danny being out, Steve will come back up, and he'll jump right back in there and play. And, Austin can play in the slot, and Steve can play in the slot, and even Brian can do it. Or Brandon, rather. So, it's a good situation. We got 5 healthy ones, and we just got to spread the ball around a little bit.
Here's a question on Twitter from Rudy G. How loud was the Dome Thursday?
It's getting louder. Okay, it was good. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's the best it's been this year.
It was cool to see all the towels being waved and the fans on their feet. And,
it was great.
It's a nice reward to have that kind of scene. And then it was great because the NFL Network sets up shop over there. And then there's a group of about 100, 200 hardcore fans that sit behind them and chant the whole time. And then they bring out 55 and 91.
Yeah.
And it looked like the tattoo troupe was out there. Man, the tats were in
Sons of Anarchy.
The Sons of Anarchy were out there, man.
Yeah, we're selling sleeves, right? So.
Let's go to Valley Park and welcome in Daryl to the show. Good evening, Daryl.
Hey, Coach. This is Daryl. I just want to have a quick question for you now. With Danny being out, I know your previous caller just answered this question. Steve Smith was a previous slot receiver in Philadelphia and in New York with the Giants, but now that we have Quick and Givens, is he going to be primarily a slot receiver now that he's been inactive, or can you use him to take the top off the defense a little bit, or do you have a specific role for him assigned for this upcoming week with the Dolphins?
Well, Steve will come in, and he'll probably take that role just in the slot, but Steve can also play outside as Danny can, but Steve can play all 3 spots. That's a great part about having Steve on the team, and why we're so excited that not only was this come in, but he came in with the knee issue being so far behind him, and he's been productive for us. So he can play all 3 spots if need be.
Hey, Coach, I just looked you guys rushed for over 100 yards, 32 carries, and Sam was only sacked once. We talked a lot about the offensive line going into the game and haven't talked much about them since.
Well,
played pretty well.
They did. It's 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you remember all the hype 2 weeks ago about these defenses in Seattle and what Seattle did to Green Bay and how they had 8 sacks, and then guess what? We shut their ends out, and then these guys can really harass a passer, and our offensive line and stop the run. You're talking about the Cardinals defense, and the offensive line did a great job. They just got up there and they just like to play. And they like to play hard. And they like to finish and play a little nasty, and that's what makes him so fun to watch.
Wayne Hunter seems like a good fit for you.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's having a blast. Yeah.
I mean, here's a guy that you talk about a trade that's paid dividends. And I don't even know what's going on with Jason in New York, but here
we might find out here in a little bit.
Yeah, they're on national TV tonight. But we talked about him getting through the injuries the first couple of weeks, not coming out, and then we haven't called his name, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, that's when you don't talk to one about call his name, then he's not giving up the sack, nor is he jumping off sides or getting called for holding.
Now, in your mind, where does, of all the difficult positions in the NFL, you ranked him or near ranked him, left tackle, how difficult is that compared to other positions in the NFL?
Oh, it's way up there with the quarterback. But then again, we can make a case that, oh my gosh, what has Harvey had to contend with at the right guard spot the last couple of weeks? Mm-hmm. Those giant defensive tackles, and then the nifty pass rusher. So that's a hard position to play, and like I've been saying week after week, Coach Boo does a great job with those guys.
Speaking of left tackle, how good can Robert Quinn be, in your opinion?
Well, this is going to be a great matchup this week with he and Long, but he can be. He's one of those guys that could, compete and, at least contend for at the end of the season in sack totals. He can be one of those guys. But same thing. It's like that's what Chris is too. They felt like they needed to bang Chris a little bit with the back, and so Robert had just the one-on-ones out there. One-on-one with that tackle where the tackle's can't hear. Or it's going off on a silent count. That advantage is so clearly weighs in the favor of the defensive end.
When you came in and studied film of last year, did you see the progression? Did you expect this from Robert Quinn?
Expected this from him, yes. I did not do I wasn't in, so I didn't do the draft thing. But by all accounts and the people that we talked to, they felt like he had a chance to do this, and he's got a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of room for improvement, but there's a lot ahead of him once he starts really fine-tuning the hand game and all the counter and stuff. But the speed is his speed right now on the edge.
He's got some fast twitch fibers, doesn't he?
Love the way they get after the quarterback. Love everything about their game except for sack celebrations.
Yeah.
He's work.
Yeah, I'd rather them just walk back to the huddle. So I got to talk about that. As a matter of fact,
Dunbar
thanks for reminding me, because
Dunbar had an interesting one.
I put a note on that little sideline card I had to talk to coaches about sack celebrations. I will be, how you say it, hot irritated.
What's your rule?
If we have a penalty.
Do you have a rule of thumb here? Just don't get a penalty?
Don't hurt the football team. Yeah.
Let's go to Courtney. Welcome in, Courtney. Courtney, you're on with Jeff Fisher.
Yes, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm good, Courtney. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, man. I just wanted to tell you that you're doing an awesome job in St. Louis. You brought a new look to the Rams. And, man, you could have went anywhere, but you decided to come to St. Louis, man, and you're just doing an awesome job. Oh, my God. Man, we are so excited here at Wonder Bread. It's Sundays, we be at work. We can't really watch the game like we would like to, but, man, you brought the excitement here in St. Louis. We love it, man.
Well, thanks for the call. Come out and see us and bring a friend.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
And yell.
Yeah, make him a loud friend.
Yeah.
Bring your loud friends. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll take more phone calls from you. We'll look ahead to the Dolphins matchup Sunday. This is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. When you believe in things that you don't understand, and you suffer. Superstition ain't the way.
Bud Light. the official beer of NFL fans who do whatever it takes. Here we go.
All right, welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings, and you heard the phone numbers. We'll also take a question from the audience. If you'd like to come up to my right, there's a microphone here. You can ask the head coach, make a comment, whatever's on your mind. Jeff, you're going down to Miami, face the Dolphins this weekend. They have caught my eye the last 2 weeks. Couple of things. Number one, played very well on the road 2 weeks in a row. They lost at Arizona, but took them to overtime out there, ran up 480 yards of offense. And then this past week, they go to Cincinnati and take down a previously 3-1 team on its home turf. So Miami's doing some things right. What catches your eye?
Well, let's go back one more week against the Jets at home. Okay. They take them to overtime, ice the kicker, they block it, and then the Jets come back, kick the field goal. So they're they're playing close games. They're well coached. They're disciplined. The young quarterback, he's very familiar with the system because it's his college system, and his college head coach is the offensive coordinator. So it's not, there was not a lot of learning there. So he feels comfortable. Reggie Bush is running well. They use a no huddle, high tempo college kind of offense. So the calls have to come. It's going to be a hard week of preparation for us defensively. Their defense on the other side is just well coached, and they're playing hard. They're big up front. They've got Cameron Wake, and they've got the big linebackers, and they're a good football team. I mean, they're in a tough division as we are, but they're a good football team right now.
What is the best way to slow down a no huddle?
Well, you got to get them a third down. That's the thing. Pressure them. You got to change. Because the quarterback's going to get up there and he's going to look and see and force you to declare and then, choose the best option. And so you got to be able to disguise and do some things.
Hard to substitute defensively, right?
Hard to get your guys on the field, yep.
So guys got to be in shape. I mean, they might be on for extended periods of time here.
Well, yeah, and then you're talking about this is obviously it's the first game, the Eastern 1 o'clock Eastern game in Miami this year. Okay, Miami. Having known a little bit about the organization, they will not play noon games until October. Or 1 o'clock games because it's not fair on the fans because it's too dang hot. So keep that in mind. We're going down there and it's going to be sunny and it's going to be 85 degrees and hot. And so this is going to be the ultimate test thus far for our defensive line.
I heard they have a helicopter.
Yeah, we don't need to go into that.
I wasn't going to go into great detail about
they
that.
do.
Let's talk to Gerald from St. Louis. Gerald, you're on with the head coach.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Fisher?
I'm good, Gerald. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I just want to say, man, you done brought life back to the city with these shoulder pads and helmets, man. It's always been, lately anyway, the Blues and the world champion baseball Cardinals. But now it's fun to turn to Channel 2 and watch you guys bring this electrifying feeling back to the city, man. You're doing a great job, man.
Well, thank you. I'm glad it's not like baseball to where, you got to wear the same uniform that your players are because I'm glad I don't have to wear a helmet and shoulder pads. But these guys are doing it, it's a fun group, and, it's still real early in the season. We got a lot of work ahead of us, but thanks for the call.
Next on the line is Valdez. Valdez, welcome to the show.
Hello, guys. How are you this evening?
We're good. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Coach. Once again, I want to echo I just want to echo the words of everybody that's been calling in tonight. You're doing a fantastic job. I admired you down in Tennessee, except Super Bowl Sunday that year. But I've always admired you. I admired you back when you played with the Bears. But I also want to ask you something. And excuse me if I'm repeating a question that's already been asked. I'm just tuning in now, kind of late. But the running back situation with Steven Jackson, we all know that this could be it for him as a Ram. What's your take on it, and are you going to get more touches for Richardson and I believe it's Pease, the third-string running back? Are they going to see more of the ball than Steven, or?
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. It's hard to get touches to three running backs. That's hard. But I want to get more touches to both of them. I'd like to see us run the ball more. Now, certainly not, being critical, but, in a perfect world, we're running the ball, 25 to 30, 32 times a game. And that means that we're in the game and we're controlling the clock. And so, yeah, I'd like to see Jack get more touches and Daryl get more touches for that matter. But to answer the initial part of your question, we would absolutely love for Jack to be able to finish his career here. And right now you can see what he can do. He's still got it.
Go back to the Dolphins and looking at, you mentioned Reggie Bush. How well is he playing right now?
He's playing well. He's running inside better than I think most people thought. He still looks to bounce the thing outside a little bit, but he's got great quickness. And the thing about Reggie is that, you got to edge him because, he may hit, he may hit to your defensive right and everybody swarm the ball, and then he'll score it out the left side in the flat and go the distance. So he's playing good. And he's protecting well, and then they get him out of the backfield, in those matchup situations where they get the ball to him on angle routes and the matchups on the linebackers, which is hard.
Pretty good receivers, Hartline and Beth.
Yeah, Hartline had 250 last week against Cardinals, and Bess is a real good possession guy inside. He's been that way for the last few years, and he does their returning. But Fasano, the tight end, and their offensive line is big, and their offensive line is big now. This may be one of the better ones we'll face that we faced in the last few weeks.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Drew, you're on with head coach Jeff Fisher.
Hey, Coach Fisher, how you doing? What'd you think about that Rockin' Dome on Thursday night? Could you hear me up there in the stadium?
I could hear you, yeah. You went to the restroom in the third quarter, didn't you? Because I lost you there for a while. But.
I was screaming my head off. Let's go catch up.
Hey, thanks. Hey, tell a friend, man. The louder, the better. The players absolutely love it.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Well, we're losing Drew, so let's move on. Thank Drew. We appreciate your participation. Let's go to St. Peter's and welcome in Joe. You're on with Jeff Fisher. Joe? Joe, you there? Okay, we lost Joe, so hopefully we'll get Joe back. And even Drew, you can call back, too, if you have a question or comment. The rookie quarterback, Tannehill, how much are they using his athleticism, his legs, his ability to get out of the pocket and throw and run?
They are. They're using boots, and he'll extend plays with his legs, pull it down. You got to be careful about the man stuff because he'll recognize it and take off and run. He's big. He's 6'4.5" and 220 or something like that, 225. Sees well. He's got a good arm too. So it's not surprising to anybody that he's had this much success this far.
They were the subject of Hard Knocks this year, the Dolphins. You've never been a Hard Knocks guy. Would you ever?
No.
You didn't even hesitate there?
No, I would not.
Why is that?
I just think what
Too
we
disruptive?
do. Yeah, what we do. And, people say, well, it's not a disruption. Well, there's things come out. I don't know. I think it's good. I don't even watch it. But I think what we do inside our building is our information, and it should be kept to us. And that's why, I'm not a real big fan of the camera in the locker room after the game, even after wins. That's our stuff. Right. I don't think that I know it makes for great TV, and Steve Sable was always on my butt, rest his heart, But just about Coach opened the locker room after, and I just, what, gosh, this is just our stuff, There's times when we'll let you capture the moments, but most of the time, hey, we're, we want to say and act the way we want to act without everybody else seeing it.
Even the conversations, it always strikes me. I watch Hard Knocks, and every episode there's 3 or 4 times where I go, Joe Philbin, whoever the coach is, Rex Ryan. Yeah. Of course, Rex invites it, but Joe Philbin, he's not going to be happy that came out, or he's not going to think that's a great thing that got out. Some of those conversations, especially when it comes to player evaluations, the things behind closed doors, because especially if that player is on your roster later, that could cause a problem.
Well, yeah, it could. And they always, I'm sure they say, hey, look, you got final edits say here and this and all that. But still, there's going to be things, as you say, that you don't necessarily want them to capture. But the other side of it is, I think you are putting people in positions to where they act differently, okay? Or you're making them become actors. And I don't think, I think it's a distraction and it's a waste of time. It's unnecessary.
All right, let's go to Chesterfield and welcome in Kenny. Kenny, your question or comment for the head coach?
Hey, Coach, I want to welcome you to St. Louis. I'm a first-time season ticket holder. I just wanted to say, in years past, I know the previous regimes have relied heavily on the blitz for the Rams. Since you're getting so much pressure from your front four this year, I was wondering to know if, since we've gotten already 17 sacks in 5 games, are you going to rely heavily on the blitz still, or are you just going to keep going with a 4-man front? It's hard to hear you, so I'm going to go listen on the radio.
Yeah, thanks. Good question. Your preference is to be able to rush with 4, and then you can affect coverage and do those things with the rest of the group. But, it's not always the case. We threw a lot of different things at the Cardinals and the Seahawks for that matter. And when you look at our stat sheet there, we've got guys like Dunbar and Finnegan and Fletcher with sacks. Well, that's telling you that we got other people coming, other than just our 4 down. So preference is to be able to rush with 4. We can, believe me, we can, and we will get better at it. But there are going to be times when you need to mix things up and get the ball out quick.
We have one more segment, Joe. We will get to your call when we come back. Just a quick break coming up. This is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
101 ESPN talk sports all day, every day. St. Louisans are the best sports fans in the world, and 101 ESPN brings all the passion and pride to the coverage you deserve. Mike and Mike every weekday morning. Zach and the Coach from 9 to 11. The Godfather of St. Louis sports, Bernie Miklasz from 11 to 2. The Fast Lane from 2 to 6. Then Stully and Rammer with baseball postseason action. 101 ESPN, St. Louis's sports station.
All right, welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings, final segment of the Jeff Fisher Show. As promised, Joe, you're first up. Your question or comment for the Rams head coach.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
We're good, Joe. How are you?
All right. Coach Fitz, I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I wanted to ask a quick question. But what you did with the team is amazing. We both you.
Joe. Yeah, we're having trouble hearing you, Joe. Can you hear us? You're breaking up. We couldn't get your question.
Oh, can you hear me now?
You better.
A little bit better, yeah.
All right. I wanted to ask.
Yeah. Okay, it happens. Live radio. That's the way it goes. Schedule this week, Coach. You gave them the weekend off, right?
Yep. Everybody will be back in the building tomorrow.
They were off today too?
Yes, and so we will give them. We'll have just kind of a little head start on Miami tomorrow afternoon. Make sure everybody comes back safe. A lot of guys have been in. That's a good part about what we got going is the guys had some time off and they didn't want to get away. Encourage them to get away and just let the football go for a few days. And just rest, take care of yourself. We got quite a challenge ahead of us. We got 3 out of the next 4 games are on the road. One's overseas and one's across country. And we'll have gone from Miami to London, back, and to San Francisco and back. So we've got time change issues, we've got travel issues, and we're playing good teams in every situation. So we got our work cut out for us this next month, and they understand how important it is to stay focused and take care of themselves and play hard.
You're saying all that with a smile.
I am, because they understand it. That's a good part.
You've said that, though, for a young team. You said maybe you signed guys or drafted guys with this in mind. Maybe you gave them the IQ test, the square peg and the round hole test, but you said these guys for a young football team have responded.
They have
from day one.
Yeah, they have, because I think they like when the coaches, when their assistants and the coordinators tell them things and they do them, and then it carries over into success on the field. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So got a long way to go, but a big one this weekend for us.
Is it playing on the road? Is it difficult to impart in the youngsters to try to make them approach it the same way as a home game?
No,
what's the challenge there?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's what you want to do is you want to try to follow the same schedule that you do at home. We do on the road. What you also need to do is eliminate distractions you don't need to be concerned about tickets and this and that and family and cousins and South Beach and, all that kind of stuff when you go down there. It's a business trip. So go down there and stay focused and take care of business. I mean, our challenge the other day was to me that time between the pregame meal and kickoff, because there's about 4 hours, and it's a long day, the night games, and it's that wasted energy that you just, it's that where you just sit in the chair, guys, just think about the game. I told them, just forget about the game for the next couple hours, because the energy level is going to be there at kickoff. So, so a lot of little things to try to help them do that. That's what we are. So it'd be nice to be able to get our first win on the road.
Real quick before we go, teaching teams how to win, is that part of it, dealing with prosperity when people are patting you on the back?
Yeah, but I'm not concerned about that. I mean, we've only won 3 games, and we've won them close. That, to me, that's what keeps you winning. You'd hate to come out of the blocks and win by 28 and do that 3 or 4 times in a row, because that's when you have that. Okay, hey, we'll be fine. We'll just show up. No. We're not fine now. Every play is critical, and every play at practice is critical. Coaches don't put plays on cards and script practices just to take up time. They do it because it's going to happen in the ball game, and so it's all about preparing. So
you said if it was up to you, you'd play 16 noon games.
Yep.
Just get up and get after it.
Get up
no
and
dead
get
time.
After it. No, go. Have your meetings. Have your normal meetings. Saturday evening meeting schedule. Have a meal. Go to bed. Get up and go play. Yeah.
So on a night like Thursday night, when you mentioned all the downtime, what does Jeff Fisher do to keep his mind free and to keep himself?
Well, I'm not playing, so
no. But I mean, but mentally,
more.
You've got to be. I mean, you're challenged mentally.
Yeah,
so.
There is. Well, it's again, I'm looking ahead. Okay, looking ahead to the next week, the next week's opponent, doing different things here, going back, maybe even the rule book, just doing things, and going back through the plan. We've got plans in 3 phases, and you can't spend enough time going through the what ifs. The what if this happens, or what we got 4 seconds left here, and all that. So.
Jeff, it's been a lot of fun. It was fun Thursday night. We're looking forward to going down to Miami and seeing a good matchup with the Dolphins.
Yeah, we'll go down and take care of business.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out to Buffalo Wild Wings, and thank you to everybody listening tonight on 101 ESPN on the St. Louis Rams radio network. A high noon kickoff Sunday in Miami, and pregame will start at 9 o'clock on 101 ESPN. For DeMarco Farr, I'm Steve Savard. For Dodie Rahman, our engineer, and our producer, Haas Newport. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams radio network.